Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So the trailer for Game of Thrones Season 8, the final season of the series has finally dropped. Um, I'm a bit torn. See, personally, for at this stage in the series, all the characters that I would have been rooting for have essentially been killed. Right, so at this point, I'm Team White Walker. So I'm now rooting for the White Walkers to actually win. All the interesting characters are no longer here. Littlefinger being one of my favorites, despite being yes, he was a sleazeball, but he was one of the more intelligent characters in the series, and he knew how to play the game. More importantly. So Littlefinger, in Varys is still here. He's definitely a close second, but initially I thought he had larger ambitions, similar to Littlefinger early on, or he played it that way. But I mean, he's now given his allegiance to Daenerys, which, yeah, to be honest, Daenerys as a character, I don't believe, and this is similar to Jon's character as well. I don't believe they've grown much throughout the season. Throughout the entire series, in fact. Well, Daenerys, Jon more so than Daenerys. For Daenerys, no, we've seen her conquered cities here and there, but more often than not, this was someone else doing the work or armies doing the work. You didn't actually see her do much outside of actually having a lot of adoring fans and advisors, people around her. So the people around her were excellent, but you didn't see her do much. And in the last season, where we actually did have an opportunity for her to essentially show us what she can do, for the most part, it ended up being a losing battle, right? So for her character hasn't quite won me over just yet. But that aside, on the opposite side of the spectrum, I don't know. Cersei is a complex character, but at the very least, I've actually witnessed things unfold as a result of her actions. So she's on the opposite side of Daenerys. So I'm essentially, I don't agree with a lot of what Cersei has done, but I do respect her, right? So I'm looking forward to see how season 8 progresses. Who will come out on top? Again, I am Team White Walker. No one else has thrown their hat in the race here that I can actually want to root for. Arya is still one of my favorite characters to date, so I do hope she manages somehow to survive this. Her character had a bit of not a slow start, but somewhere in the middle there it fell down. With her trials, attempting to become an assassin, and I didn't feel like it was earned. Right, we saw her got thrown in. She had a few scenes where it appears as though she was training, but we never actually got to see how she made the transition from the little girl to the assassin. We just jumped from one end to the other, and then the previous season she came back as a badass, so we were all like, yes, okay, she's finally here. We didn't get to see her transition to it, but hey, we take what we can get. And one of the things I am hoping that they do here, this is the final season, throw all the budget in there, whatever budget you have left. I know the dragons are awesome, but I fancy myself a wolf guy, so I would want to see more of the wolves, right? Jon's wolf, direwolf, for some very odd reason, sat out most of the season, even though the last battle that he fought in, he was nowhere to be seen. So it's a bit complicated. I understand that there were budget restraints, so they had to put most of that into the dragons, but honestly, I do wish that we got to see more than just the dragons. The wolves are pretty cool. Every time they're on screen, it's a captivating moment. We had an opportunity to get Arya's back, and or at least I'm assuming that's what the writers were hinting at, and they decided not to. So she left and went back into the wild. Again, disappointed. So at this point, Jon's wolf is the only one that we have that I can rely on to actually get some screen time. Anyhow, that's enough rambling. So Game of Thrones Season 8 trailer. Let's check it out. All right, Arya. Not looking so good.
I know death.
Love is still home, so
He's got many faces.
there's some thread here.
I look forward to seeing this one.
April 14th.
Everything you did brought you where you are now. Where you
Sam,
belong.
we're seeing a lot of the old characters. Didn't get a lot of screen time last season, so hopefully that changes here. All right, the dragons are here.
They're coming. Our enemy doesn't tire. Doesn't stop.
Forge those dragon blast
Doesn't
weapons.
feel.
All right, so it appears as though Jamie has in fact joined the good guys.
I promise to fight for the living. I intend to keep that promise.
So Sam's going to ride one of the dragons. Waiting. Yeah, all right. And we'll turn to the final season. All right, in true Game of Thrones fashion, they didn't reveal too much. That's been the case for, that's always been the case for HBO and Game of Thrones. They tend not to really reveal too much in trailers, unless you're one of those persons who fancies watching a block of ice melt. But the trailer didn't reveal too much. It gave us just enough. We got to see where each player on the board is now. Of course, Cersei is essentially just sitting back and watching the world burn, and I suppose she'll deal with whoever the victor is. Not a bad strategy. Jamie we saw him ride off last season, and we assumed that he was off to join Jon and Daenerys, and he may very well be right. It appears as though that's the case. In the trailer here, he says he made a vow to fight for the living, so I'm assuming that that's where he is now. And we are happy for it. That was a toxic relationship, Jamie. It was. So the dragons are obviously. I'm assuming that Jon and Daenerys have headed back to his home and to essentially to build a blockade or to make the weapons, get all the armies, call all the houses together and organize their army to hold off the White Walkers and hopefully they come out victorious. As I said before, I'm not rooting for either of these characters. It would be great if they did come out on top and one or the other or both ends up on the Iron Throne. It would be a satisfying ending, but I am all for controversial endings. I do hope the writers do take things in a different direction and not just the obvious one. So obviously they won't go and let the White Walkers win as much as I would like that. But let's not make the obvious choice. Do something a little more interesting. So Game of Thrones Season 8, I hope everyone's excited as I am. Be sure to leave comments down below and let us know how you feel about the trailer and what you're looking forward to seeing in Season 8, how you wish, who do you want to see on the Iron Throne. All right, as usual, if you like the content you've seen here and you'd like to see more, hit like or subscribe, and I'll see you next time.